So it's been a few days and we've got some more FM24 news. They said they'd be rolling some out every week. So let's have a look at what this news is. I think it relates to transfers and squads and things like that. I haven't looked at it yet, so I'm going to have a look at it. Of course, on Friday, we saw this stuff about the new features. A little bit mentioned about the transfer room partnership, which I've got a video on that. Go check that out if you want to know a bit more about that. And of course, the release dates and the Netflix we had in the video before. Now, I'm across on the blog, and I know this is out, but I can't actually see it here. So we're going to have to find where it is first. Okay, right. So I've come onto Football Manager on Twitter, and there seems to be a link here. FM24 so it's in the features section. Okay, so it's not in the news. For some reason they've not put it in news, or it's not in the news yet. It's across in features. So let's have a look at see what this includes. Smarter transfers, squad building, and finance. So there's a few extra changes here around the way in which we build our squads and the finance. So interesting to see what finance has changed. Okay, our continued drive to mirror developments in the real football world make Football Manager 2024 the most complete edition in the series yet. Two areas we worked on extensively that powerfully reflect this are recruitment and finance. Now, I did think they were going to put a video out about this, but looking on their channel, there's no video, just the announced trailer. So we've got to live with only what we get here. On the recruitment front, we significantly improved the decision-making and team selection capabilities of AI managers. You'll see the real game world reflects the current trends of the world transfer market. So that'll be things like probably the Saudi Arabian team spending a lot of money, maybe MLS grabbing a big player or two every now and again. It's probably small tweaks like that. It's not just recruitment that's been made smarter though. We've put vast work into upgrading the in-game finance system to ensure there's greater dynamism and volatility in every career. Oh, now volatility is interesting. Okay, brace for more transfer battles. So if you're Liverpool, be ready for Chelsea to come in and undermine every transfer. The global transfer market is ever evolving, and the recent transfer window was unprecedented in several ways. As a result of these global developments, we made some wider coded changes to FM24 to reflect those trends in every career. Firstly, ensure the way your rivals bid and sell players resonates with a clear identity. We've done a lot of work under the hood to improve their transfer market decision making. Smarter opposition recruitment is order of the day, with AI managers now programmed to consider factors like form and reputation more so than ever before. Oh, does that mean it's going to be easier to grab those South American wonder kids? Maybe. I'm sure they're after them as well. AI managers now better geared to recognize imbalances in their squad makeup and will take their tactical style into consideration much more in shortlisting players. In essence, this means they'll look to fill attribute gaps in their squad. Okay, so imagine using a gegenpress approach will specifically look for midfielders with high stamina and work rate attributes if they determine that their squad is missing such a player. The approach will now place a strong focus on a player's potential ability rather than their current ability when they're looking for backup rotation options they're going to be going for those wonder kids then, looking for rotation options to establish first team starter. The days of hoarding wonder kids are over. The improved logic also applies to outgoing transfers, with AI clubs now making much more considered and contextual decisions concerning loans for young players. If it was felt that a player was lacking in terms of physicality, the player would try to facilitate a move to a more physical team to improve that aspect of the player's development. Okay, so maybe it's going to be harder also for those lower league teams where you just loan in a load of players to get them to go up. Ultimately, the suite of changes means that your opponent will make more informed, reactive, squad-building decisions. It means that you'll face far more competition in the transfer market. And when your rivals make mistakes, they will feel authentic and realistic. So they're going to mess up in the market too. Okay, interesting. Variations to player development. To complement the changing recruitment decisions of opposition managers, there are some upgrades to the way your rivals pick their matchday squads. Previously, AI teams were less likely to pick youth prospects in the first team because they had low current ability. Now those talents have a higher probability of being on the bench and will see more playing time when teams are ahead or controlling games in the latter stage. Okay, so they're going to start playing the kids much like we would do to try to give them some time. We've also worked on how AI prioritizes matches throughout the season, which should see improved rotation to help aid player development. Okay, interesting. Elsewhere, we've also made tweaks to player development. Some will see an accelerated improvement in their teenage years before hitting a ceiling earlier on. Meanwhile, a new system has been introduced to recognize late developers. This is interesting because this is something, and I saw something today about Rashford. He's 26. He's not going to develop anymore. But, players develop at different stages of their careers. Look how late Jamie Vardy was playing in the Premier League. Jamie Vardy didn't hit his peak until he was in his 30s. Those players who don't break through until slightly later than we considered typical. The other aspect of transfers we made amends to is the in-game transfer histories. We've upgraded the user interface and given the ability to filter league transfer histories by ins and out. Okay, yeah, that's kind of useful because they weren't so easy to look at before. Okay, we're on to finances. Those are small sort of tweaks, but they could really alter the way in which the game plays, which would be really interesting to see how that plays out. Balancing the books. Okay, this is the finances then. Connected to these transfer market changes, we made several upgrades to the finance system to reflect the way it works in modern football. Across the game, we've added a number of news items and improved existing ones to provide you with greater clarity on your income expenditure throughout the season. You'll notice that key financial information is surfaced more quickly when you need it. In certain instances where you've overspent your available funds, you'll notice that we've incorporated negative transfer budgets. So you can go to the negative now. If you go into the red, you read an inbox item that informs you need to either sell players. Okay, so you don't have to wait to clear the money first. So that can be useful. Or transfer clauses in order to generate fresh income. Examples and candidates for both are including the inbox item. It's a clear indication of how much money you need to recoup before you got a positive budget again. If you're unable to take if you're unable to generate enough money within the agreed time period, your board will take control of your budget and begin to sell your players for you. Okay. The control will then be relinquished back to you when either cash has been raised or the transfer window is closed. So the board might start to sell players, right? I don't know if that happens in real football. I'd imagine at some point the board does say, yes, we're going to do these. Should you take over a club that's got a negative transfer budget, you'll face a more challenging start in the dugout. I had one with this season, a Palermo, that was an absolute nightmare. It was the transfer budget was positive, but the wage budget was, I had to cut 100k off a 140k wage budget, and it was impossible. All right, financial fair play. A number of upgrades to financial fair play. Other nation-specific financial rules. Should a club breach financial fair play, there are now new sanctions in place, including squad size and transfer spending restrictions, as well as fines and competition income being withheld. If your club is close to breaching these rules, there'll be a note in the finances member to explain that your wage budget is locked. Okay. Here's the picture of it. I don't know if I can get a large version of this. Oh, here we go. Clubs administration teams provided with a summary of financial fair play regulations. Okay, interesting. Is there anything else we can spot on this picture, by the way? Match preparation. We already have that, right? Player targets and promises updates. That's a new thing, right? The SI League. I want to know what the SI League is now. Okay. We should look into each of these images, see if there's anything else we can spot. So this is the insufficient transfer funds one. You got 1 week to sell a player. Okay, interesting. Otherwise, the board takes control. We got any others? No, not at the minute. Okay. So get some information on TV rights, changes to ticket prices. Less money will be described as general or other. Committed spend calculations for future transfers have been improved. Additionally, loan income and expenditure are now listed as separate from permanent deal income and expenditure. Okay. Clubs in lower divisions, they will now turn professional at the point of promotion rather than at the end of the season. That's useful so you can start to get players in earlier. Conversely, there are more discernible sporting and financial setbacks from not switching back from professional to semi-professional following relegation. Okay, that's useful. Though most of the time you're sacked. Our most intelligent market yet. In the coming weeks, you'll learn more about this year's other features, including intermediary role and how they help you offload players, introduction of targets for players, changes to the match end, refresh your set pieces. Okay, a load of gameplay stuff. All right, that's useful. Let's have a look at this one, see if there was anything in this one that we haven't seen. See if we could spot anything. Supporter profile, that's sort of what we had already. So these are the changes to the ticket prices. You can see the ticket prices going up and down. I feel like that might have already been there, but it's useful stuff, right? Was that already there? There are new season tickets league table. Okay, so you can see the clubs in order, how much they sold the season ticket. All right, interesting stuff. I sort of want to see this in action. It's hard to judge all this transfer stuff without seeing it in action. So I think until we see that in action and see like some of those transfers that happen, maybe getting into like a bidding war over a player. Maybe, you imagine we're Arsenal and who was it? Liverpool, Man City? Man City over Declan Rice. And you end up in this sort of bidding war. Because I don't think you can really get into a bidding war. Sort of the AI sort of accepts the bid once you've met what they're asking for. Whereas, that Declan Rice thing would never happen. You can try and do it in game, but even then it doesn't really work. If you try to set they did add the ultimatum button, but it didn't really create a bidding war. It's sort of a one-off bid up that you force. So interesting. Yeah, so there's more coming. If we look at the features roadmap, there we go. Oh, it's on there. So if you go on there, you'll find that one. So next, coming soon, unlocks week commencing September 18th. So later in the week, we're going to have to do another video about the intermediaries and offloading players and see what that brings. And then next week, we've got individual player targets and interaction. So this is to do around player interaction. Interesting. You can sort of see the the grayed out areas, more gameplay deep dives. That says FMFC. Interesting. I wonder if they've got that on the start menu, which I wonder if that means they're going to show some versus and draft mode stuff, which they've not really touched draft mode for a few years. They did versus last year, of course. I think it just means it's going to be exclusive on FMFC, but it is the start menu that shows the different modes. So that'd be interesting to see what they include there. So let me know how you feel about those new features. Are they significant? Do you think it's going to change the game? Is it going to overhaul the way in which you interact with transfers? Are you excited about them? Let me know in the comments down below. If you've not yet, go check out this video I've done on FM25 and how the Unity project is maybe under a little bit of problems. Maybe not for Foot Manager so much, but just more in general. So go check this out.